their toll, chasing gold but dig a hole. Lose control, it swallows whole. Charts explode, green and red. Panic rushes through your head. Bull or bear, what's the play? Up we ride or down we sway. Make the call, don't delay. Lightning strikes in the trade, fortunes made or lost in shade. Risk the blade, no masquerade. Bull or bear, what's the play? Up we ride or down we sway. Make the call, don't delay. Lightning strikes in the trade, fortunes made or lost in shade. Risk the blade, no masquerade.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines. One of them is about a pardon that we saw yesterday, and the other one is some more news out of China. But before we get to all of that today, let's get you prepped for some success. You know what I got pulled up in the background. It's that stock heat map. So let's dive on in. We are seeing a little bit of some movements this morning, not only in the crypto side of things, but also in TradFi as well. We've got Apple up 0.35%. We've got Nvidia up 0.55. Berkshire Hathaway sitting down 0.06, looking quite neutral this morning. We've also got Amazon down 0.3. Eli Lilly sitting with no change on the board. It was in the red, like down 0.1, but looking like it's seeing a little bit of buying pressure now. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.09. We've got Tesla down 0.47. P&G sitting up 0.45. Microsoft with pretty much no change on the board, up 0.04. We've got Google up 1.41, continuing on that trend that we saw the other day. After that Trump news with some quantum computing, Google getting that nice move towards the upside, and we will dive into that article on another day when we actually get a little more information and it's not just all hypothesizing. We've also got Meta up 0.5%. Hopping over to the crypto side of things, we've got a lot of green bubbles over here. We've got one red, TRX, sitting to the downside 3.6, but for the most part, we've got nothing but green bubbles here. Getting on to that hourly though, we are seeing a little bit of red this morning. So we've got Bitcoin up 1.6%, we've got Ethereum up 1.9, we've got BNB up 2.1, XRP up 1.6, we've got Solana up 1.6 as well, Dogecoin taking a spot from Tron, while Tron sitting down 3.6%, Doge sitting up 0.8, we've got Cardano up 1.4, Chainlink up 1.6. We've got Hyperliquid taking a spot in the market cap from a stable coin, sitting up 1.2%. We've got Stellar Lumens up 0.5. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 1.3. We've got Sui sitting at 0.5. We've got Avalanche with no change on the board. Leo token with no change on the board. Litecoin sitting up 2% and taking a spot in the market cap from HBAR, while HBAR is sitting up 0%. Getting over to those fear and greed meters, we're still sitting in fear on the stock side. Not too unexpected. We've been getting a lot of wishy-washiness on some tariff news, looking like we might finally have a little bit of a consensus on that, and we'll have to see if some data is going to give us a push towards the upside or not. For the crypto side of things, also sitting in fear, a little bit higher than the stock market, up 3 points and 230. For that liquidation heat map, we've got a little bit of liquidity towards the top side. A lot of this, though, is people shorting from that last high. We'll kind of have to see if we can continue on towards the downside, or if we're going to grab up that liquidity and then get a little bit of a continuation. We've also got that liquidity sitting on the top side on the 3-day. That's at 112,200 there. Zooming on out to that 3-day, you can see it just a little bit better there. We've got that hot spot at 112,000, and it ranges all the way up to that 112,300. We've also got a little bit of a hot spot way up here at 114,300 all the way to 114,800. Gotta zoom it on out just a little bit further to really get that top side spot. You can kind of see it's not overly hot on that higher term time frame. Zooming on out a little bit further, hopefully that 2-week loads. Sometimes it does. There we go. 2-week coming in with the data. Finally, we've got that liquidity sitting at 114,200 all the way up to 114,800, and then another little hot spot above that at 115,900 all the way up to 116,700. So 2 hot spots away up there that we could definitely grab if we clear out a little bit of our current range. Zooming back to that 1 week real quick, you did see a little bit of a hot spot way down here at 105,900. So that's an area of interest if we do start losing some levels we talked about yesterday. Let's get that Bitcoin chart pulled on up, because I know that's what you want to see this morning. And we'll say good morning to the chat. We got Eric Wallen sliding on in here. Good morning, sir. We were doing some talking in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you are missing out. We've been having some really great conversations over there. So would love to see y'all chiming on in. We've got Steve Hickey in the house. JR's in here this morning. Good morning to the both of you. We've got Jesse Gluck, and we've got Jay in the chat. Good morning to you. We've got Yoda, the 1123. Good morning. We've got Ada Ace in here as well. And I swear there was one more person. Am I missing them? I guess not. We've also got a few lurkers in the background. Good morning to all of you. We got Dylan VA sliding in here. Good morning, sir. We've got a few people over on X as well. Good morning to all of you. Let's get into this Bitcoin chart, get into some news, and then we can get into some alt requests or stock requests. So if you got any of those, go ahead, throw them in the chat for me this morning, and we will get those cooking in just a second. We got Conspiracy Crypto sliding on in here here as well. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a great day so far. We talked about a key level that we needed to get back above if we wanted to see any kind of bullishness on Bitcoin, and that was 111,800. We have faltered just a little bit short of that this morning, and we'll kind of have to see if we can get a little bit of continuation up and above that. For now, we're just seeing that nice little rejection off of it again, but that daily is looking quite nice for a little bit of continuation towards the upside. If you can continue to see this money flow coming on in here, let me get that demonstration tool pulled up. Got this money flow sitting in the green. You've got your prime oscillator curving towards the upside, and that MACD curving towards the upside as well. Really waiting to see if we can continue that momentum. I think that momentum really gets started above 11,800. That's an area that's been of interest before, and we'll kind of have to see if we can reclaim that level to get that move towards the upside. Daily is looking quite nice. We've got that bullish divergence. We've got a little bit of money flow. Our volume is the big holdup for now. But if we can get above 111,800, you could start seeing that volume really start flowing on in. And then that next real area of interest to the top side comes in at about 114,900. We also have a little bit of some areas to the downside that are of interest. If you zoom this on in just a little bit, this hourly is looking a little bit toppy here. Let's get that zoomed on in for you. You've got that MACD getting a little bit of some rollover here. Really waiting to see if this money flow kind of starts faltering as well. We will know a little bit more as we get further into the day. But we did have this a little bit of a lower high on the shorter term time frame. Really waiting to see if we continue to make those higher lows. That prime oscillator's got that peak seeker though here on that hourly. Our money flows barely in the green here, and we're sitting on the red on the prime oscillator as well. So really waiting to see here if we can get some continued money flow on that shorter term time frame that really bleeds over into the hourly, because this hourly is starting to look a little bit stagnant here. We would need some nice fresh inflows to give us that continuation towards the upside. Seeing a little bit of some cool off would not be too unexpected, and we've got some areas directly below us that do look a little bit interesting for some hold up. 110,300 would be that first area I'd kind of look for some bouncing at. That's coming in at our very equal candle bodies, and we got some nice wicking action off of that as well. So that's that first area of interest for me to the downside. If we start losing our current range here, 110, about 300 there. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at the 15-minute and the morning, and then we can get over to that news. And if you got any of those alt requests or stock requests, we will get to those. As you can see here, we do have this little bit of a lower high on the shorter term time frame. We are looking to try to make this a higher low. If we can solidify that as a higher low, you can get that pushback towards the upside here. If not, we can get that move back towards the downside, and that's why I was talking about a little bit of a closer downside level here. We do have this 15-minute with a double bearish divergence here. The money flow is in the green for now, but it is a whole lot slower than it was the other day. Volume also looking a little bit toppy for now, but you can definitely still continue to the upside if that market opens up with some nice continuing money flow coming on in here. So that first area of interest for some resistance is going to be that 11,800 that we were talking about before. We would need to get above that and turn that into some support to see any kind of bullishness towards the upside. For now, we're just kind of consolidating underneath that, and we'll really have to see if we can get that continued higher low to get that push above our kind of equal highs here and sweep that liquidity that's above it. So few little areas to the upside, kind kind of favoring a little bit of some downside action this morning to give us a little more cool off to really have that push towards the upside, though. We'll just have to see how this plays out. Full transparency, I did enter a short off of this high, so we'll see if that plays out. Let's get over to that news, though. Go ahead, throw those alt requests in the chat for me. I'm not seeing any just yet. I did want to take a look at gold. One of my buddies asked me to do that yesterday, and I had to get to bed. So he asked me super late, and if you know me, I go to bed early. I'm not even, I'm in bed for OC show at 8 p.m., and that's just a little too late for me. So we'll take a look at that gold chart. Hopefully he's over there on X watching. All right, we had China focusing on high tech and consumers as the trade war hits its economy. And getting on into this, an outline of the ruling Communist Party's blueprint for the next 5 years were laid out in a 5,000-word communique released on Thursday. China's leaders have vowed to reduce its reliance on foreign advanced technology and spur stronger domestic demand as it weathers high winds amid elevated trade tensions with the U.S. You know, this is not too unexpected considering they got locked out of the GPU space under the Biden administration, and that Trump administration really doubled down on that. An outline of the ruling Communist Party's blueprint for the next 5 years was laid out in a 5,000-word communique released on Thursday after a 4-day top-level meeting in Beijing, just days ahead of planned talks between Chinese leader Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump. 5-year plans are a throwback to the days of the Soviet-style central planning. China still relies heavily on them to map out policy priorities and decide on funding. Party plenum meetings, like the one held this week, also are used to rally the party around Xi Jinping. Thursday's announcement signaled no major policy shifts despite mounting trade tensions. China intends to remain a global manufacturing power while sustaining strong economic growth at home. China is facing profound changes and growing uncertainties, said the communique released by the state media. It does not refer directly to the trade war between Beijing and Washington, but warns of rising uncertainties and unforeseen factors. We must proactively identify, respond to, and steer changes and dare to brave high, choppy waters and even dangerous storms, it said. Han Zhengji nailed it, not sure. A senior party official overseeing policy making in financial, economic, and rural affairs told reporters on Friday that China is well placed to handle such risks, saying there is always opportunity in crisis, and crisis can be turned into opportunity. The party vowed to achieve markedly stronger international influence, economic and national strength by 2035, and to safeguard the multilateral trading system, portraying Beijing as a defender of free trade, noted Lei Fei, a China economist at Capital Economics. We'll kind of have to see how this one all plays out. You know, they do have these 5-year plans. The last one did play out a little bit decently, but things have changed up like we talked about yesterday. And China seems to want to do the same plan and really sell their cheap goods across the world. And we're putting a little bit of a damper on that. So we will have to see how that all plays out. This was that next big article I really wanted to talk about. We saw this news coming out yesterday towards the middle of the day. President Trump pardons Binance founder Changpeng Zhao. So Changpeng Zhao, founder of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, has been pardoned by U.S. President Donald Trump. Mr. Zhao, also known as CZ, was sentenced to 4 months in prison on April 2024 after pleading guilty to violating U.S. money laundering laws. Binance was ordered to pay $4.3 billion after a U.S. investigation found it helped users bypass sanctions. A White House official confirmed to the BBC Mr. Zhao had been pardoned, which was the first reported by Wall Street Journal. Binance has been approached for comment. The exchange, which is registered in the Cayman Islands, remains the world's most popular platform for buying and selling cryptocurrencies and other digital assets. Honestly, I might have a little bit of a controversial take on this, but I don't think Zhao deserved to be in prison. We've seen Cash App pull the same nonsense. No one went to prison. They paid a settlement out. We've seen Venmo pull the same nonsense. No one went to prison. They paid a settlement. We've seen the major banks do this nonsense. No one gets charged. They pay a little bit of a fine and then continue on with business on screwing the American people over and screwing the populace over. So I don't know why, besides making an example of cryptocurrency, that this man should be sentenced to prison and actual charges would be brought forward. So I do agree with pardoning him, because if you're not going to charge the biggest banks around the world for anti-money laundering laws, then you have no reason to charge this man for anti-money laundering laws. Yes, he fully admitted that he didn't necessarily actually follow up on some of those, and that his whole plan was for growth. But the big banks do this too. You have Chime doing it. You have Cash App doing it. You have all of these internet banks that pull this same nonsense, and no one gets sentenced to prison time. They just pay a fine and keep on doing the same stuff that they've always been doing. Anti-money laundering regulations are notoriously hard to follow, and that's why all of these banking institutions constantly break them, and they just pay a fine and move on with their day. No one goes to prison over it. So I'm okay with this one, even though there's a little bit of a partnership there. Binance bought a lot of stable tokens from the Trump administration, but fair is fair. If no one else is going to go to prison, and the biggest banking institutions and these other internet banks, then why should this man? But we did have a few stock alt requests. Let's see, X Game. We can take a look at that one. We got any other ones on that list? Let's see. Peacock. Let's see. We can take a look at that. Looks like that's it for now. All right, let's get into that gold chart first, and then we can get to those alt requests. If you got any other alt requests, go ahead, throw them up on that list there, and we'll get to those in just a second. I see Mark Dutch sliding on in here. Good morning, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. You just missed the spicy take, so go back like 2 minutes, and then you'll see me do a little bit of a rant there. So we've got Solana requested as well. We can get that one on the list, and any other ones we can get to as well. Gold has been seeing a little bit of a pullback. We'll kind of have to see if it continues on that. It has been on an absolute tear, and to see it get just a little bit of some pullback would not be too unexpected. I do have a level of interest to me if we do continue on that sell-off. We are underneath our one line here on our fib extensions. That was an area I wanted to see hold if we wanted to continue bullish. We did not hold that, so I don't think gold will continue bullish for now, and we have to wait for it to come back to a key area, turn that into some support, and then get a lot of continuation off of that So we did move through a lot of these areas with some quickness. As you can see here on this daily chart, there's a lot of strong movement towards the upside here. You moved through the 50% line, you moved through that golden pocket, you moved through that platinum pocket. That first real area of interest towards me is above the platinum pocket here on our fib extensions. It is that level that we saw bounced at 3 times here. Once we get that zoomed in, you'll see it a little bit better, but this daily is looking quite toppy. You've got that MACD breaking below our indicator line here, doing it a little bit sideways though. So we'll kind of have to see if we can have some money flow holding us up at these lower levels. If not, looking a little bit further to the downside might be what to watch for. But the first area I'm going to see how price reacts at is going to be $3,942. So that's that first real key area of interest that I would look for a little bit of bouncing at, and we'll have to see if some money flow comes back in at that level. And if not, that platinum pocket would be the next real area of interest. It was resistance for us back here, and we didn't really retest on it at all on the higher term time frame. That's coming in at $3,900. So let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at the hourly here. You can see we're definitely in a little bit of a downtrend here. We've got that secondary higher high and then the massive sell-off here. But this was your pivot area. You've got that nice little lower high, lower low, lower low. You've got a lower high here. Really waiting to see if this can be a higher high for a little bit of a pivot. You do have that hourly looking a little bit nice for a continuation towards the upside on the prime oscillator, but this curvature not coming with a reversal signal here. It has flashed some oversold, but oversold doesn't necessarily mean a change of trend. This could be a nice little sweep above these equal areas up here at $4,157. Let's get that marked out for you. That is going to be a short-term level to kind of keep your eye on there. And then you could really see that continuation towards the downside. I would like to sweep above that, grab out anyone that's playing those futures markets, and then get that continuation towards the downside with how that higher term time frame is looking. But when you're in that overall downtrend, seeing a little bit of a movement towards the upside to keep that pressure on the shorts is expected. So yeah, gold looks like it might pop, definitely, and that's why I was talking in the shorter term time frame. You might see that move above 4,155, really clear out those stop losses on the futures market before you get that continuation towards the downside. Definitely looking like a little bit of continued sell-off is needed on gold on that higher term time frame, because we were in an uptrend that just wouldn't stop here. As you saw earlier, we got that strong move. This was from the lows down here when we called out that midline bounce all the way up here, a move of 32%. So seeing a little bit of sell-off, not too unexpected there. I can get a fib retracement pulled out from that as well, so we can get those levels pulled out just a little bit better. Seeing at least 50% sell off is not too unexpected. We did just break below that 236 there, really waiting to see if we come back a little bit further. We do have this 382 directly below us as well. That's 3,978. We have failed to get to that. That 236 is some resistance above us, and that really strong resistance is coming in where I called out at 4,155. Wish I was in that long, JR. Well, we called it out here. I exited way sooner, because I made my money, and I'm not the biggest fan of always holding things out, trying to squeeze every single dollar there is to be had out of a move. So we caught a decent amount of that move, but we did not catch the whole thing. I was out at like the 50% line for part of it and the golden pocket for the next part. I did not think it was going up all the way to almost 4,400. But, things have been looking very good for precious metals there. But seeing a little bit of some pullback after 32% pumps towards the upside is not unexpected there. So definitely could continue towards the downside on the macro, but see that little bit of a short-term bounce to really clear out anyone that hopped in a little bit late there. You do have that 15-minute and the morning also looking like you could see a continued pop towards the upside there. We do have that one line that is going to be our first area to really get above. That's going to be $4,112. As you can see, that MACD is running a little bit sideways here. You've got your prime oscillator getting a little bit of some curvature back towards the upside as well. Your big drawdown is going to be this money flow. It is sitting in the red, and we're in a little bit of a short-term downside trend here. We do have these very equal lows coming on in, and we'll wait to see if we sweep that first and then get that nice little pop towards the upside there. Hourly is looking nice for a little bit of continuation towards the upside, but definitely have a lot of sell pressure to get above here. All right, we did have a few alt requests to take a look at. We've got Redmond in the chat this morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. If you got any alt requests for me, go ahead, throw them in the chat there. We had Solana, Peacock, and X Games. So let's take a look at Solana first, see what we're looking at there. Looks like we're still in our range here. We called out that top side, really keep your eye on. That's 198.53, and we've got this level down here at, I guess it's now below 181. We've got our nice little area way down at 177 from this nice little Wiccan area back there. So let's get that horizontal rate pulled on up off of our wick area. You can kind of see that is more of our actual strong support area. Get this zoomed on out. Take a look at the higher term time frame. See what we got going on there. And looks like we're seeing a little bit of some sell off above the 382. Really waiting to see if we can hold this as some support this time. That'd be that nice area to see a little bit of bouncing at and then a little bit of continuation off of. You can see that MACD and the prime oscillator here both set for a little bit of some continued move towards the upside, but you need a little bit of money flow to come in for that to happen. That is our big hold up here on the daily. As you can see, that money flow's sitting in the red, and we're really waiting for that money flow to come back in with some strength there. That MACD is trying to get that cross towards the upside. We've got that prime oscillator with some curvature back towards the upside too. We've got two reversal signals that have flashed. I would like to see a third reversal signal flash. That would probably come with a little bit of bouncing action on that 236 there. Or 382. That's coming in at 190. So that'd be a nice little area to see a little bit of some bouncing action on. As you can see, we didn't really touch on it that hard here on the shorter term time frame. So seeing that really come in as our strong support would be that area I would watch for. You've got a bearish divergence stacked up here on your hourly. You've got a peak seeker coming on in. Your money flow is your big hold up here on the hourly. It is sitting in the green, but it is barely in the green and could really get that continued rollover here on the hourly. You are seeing a little bit of a loss of momentum as well. You're barely making those higher highs. Big selling wick on those higher highs as well. So seeing a little bit of rollover on the MACD as we cross below that indicator line, and you're really starting to pick up some momentum on that sell-off. I would look to see if that 382 holds, and if not, we do have some areas of interest a little bit below that, coming in at some of the highs from back here that we retested on twice here. That is 186. 186.81. So that's an area of interest for some bouncing if we lose that 382 there. That's pulled off of those equal candle bodies. We got that nice little wicking action off of it as well. So a little bit of an area towards the downside if you do lose the 382 to see some bouncing action on. That hourly does look a little bit iffy there. And if that money flow really switches into some outflows, you could see that downside pressure coming on in with some strength. Got that 15-minute in the morning, seeing a little bit of sideways momentum and a curvature on the prime oscillator. But that money flow really starting to falter. So could see a little bit of a movement towards the upside first, really try to clear out any liquidity that is in our local range here, and then get that continuation. We are trying to hold our current level right now at 191. Could really break below that though. We are in a bit of an uptrend. We got the higher lows, but you've got a lot of selling pressure above us, like I said, on that higher term time frame. So seeing a little bit of a pop this morning, not too unexpected. Reversal signal. You've got that prime oscillator curving back towards the upside, but the big barrier is our money flow, and that momentum is breaking below that zero line here on the MACD. So a little bit of an area to kind of see if we could get some bouncing at is directly below us there. So we've got Solana knocked out. Let's take a look at X Game and Peacock. I saw hype on that. Let's take a look at X Game first. This is going to be a naked chart. Let's see. I'm guessing it's this one on Pulse Chain because you were talking about that one too. Let's see what we're looking like on the higher term time frame. Not a whole lot of information. A little more information to take a look at. Let's get a fib extension pulled on up here. See what's going on. We've got our lows to our high to our low, and see what we got. Looking like that 50% line is coming in as a little bit of some resistance there. We will kind of have to see if we can get some continued money flow. Our area above that is going to be 04405. So let's get that horizontal ray drawn on up. That is our high term time frame resistance for now. That is that all-time high as well. Holding up the 236 quite nicely. Got that little bit of a bouncing action off of it. Let me readjust that a little bit better. Get it off of the lows. There we go. Got a little bit better. And you can see that 236 coming in as our support area. Got that 50% with a lot of sell pressure above us, so that 382 might be a little bit of a bouncing area to kind of keep your eye on. You've got that MACD running sideways for now. We would need some new money flow coming on in to really give us that push towards the upside. We do have a green candle here on the histogram and that prime oscillator curving back towards the upside, but the money flow's a little bit stagnant here. So let's get this zoomed on in, see what we're looking like on the shorter term time frame, see what that hourly's doing. Nice strong rejection off of the 50% line there. As you can see, that nice little wick rejection off. I would look to that 382. We've got a little bit of buying pressure below us, but could very easily break below that with how that hourly is looking. You've got that rollover of your MACD. You've got the rollover of your prime oscillator as well, and that money flow is barely in the green. So it's not holding anything up with some strength. could definitely break below our current levels, and let's see what we're looking like on that 15-minute to really see what those levels are there. Looks like those levels coming in directly towards the bottom side before the 382 are going to be off of these wicks here, 03915. So let's get that short-term horizontal ray drawn on out so you can see that bouncing area a little bit better there. Gosh, these wicks are playing with me. Let's get it zoomed in a little bit better. There we go. And nice. Got it. Took a little second. Might have had a little too much coffee this morning. All right. Getting a little bit of a bouncing off of that area. Seeing some nice buying pressure coming on in. But 15-minute also looking a little bit iffy. We do have a little bit of sideways momentum coming on in off of that MACD. Your money flows are barely in the green here, and you're getting a little bit of some cool off on that prime oscillator, but could definitely use a little more cool off. We are in a little bit of an uptrend for now. We've got that strong resistance above us to keep in mind, 04175. That is that 50% line above us. We will kind of have to see if we can get back up to it and then see if we need a little more cool off. But for now, I would kind of take a look at this potentially being an area where we see some continued cool off at after that rejection off of the 50. That 03916 being our support, and that 50% line being our resistance for now. So definitely could continue all the way up towards those old all-time highs. Would really have to watch this money flow though. So keep your eye on that short-term time frame money flow to see if it can give you that switch up here on the hourly, because the hourly is looking very sideways on that momentum on there. So if you get that money flow coming back in with some strength, this could go from running sideways or getting a little bit of curvature to just getting that next little curve towards the upside. Let me get that a little bit better there. So instead of sideways and then curving back down, you could get sideways and then curving back up. So money flow is going to be important on the shorter term time frame. We also get reversal signals quite often here on the hourly that don't really push you down too much. I like to see multiple reversal signals and breaking of key levels before I really have faith in some downside there. So keep your eye on that 50% line. If you can get above that, you're probably heading up to 04390. That was X game. Let's take a look at Peacock, and then we can take a quick look at Hype. So Peacock, I'm not sure what this one is. Also on Pulse Chain. Looks like very similar moves there to what we just looked at. Not too unexpected. It is on Pulse Chain as well. Nice little movement towards the upside. We do have a little bit of resistance directly above us to kind of keep our eye on. Let's get those horizontals drawn on out here. Looking like we'll go off of those equal candle bodies instead of those wicks. We've got that being our first high time frame resistance, and then we've got our equal wicks here being that secondary resistance area, and then we will get a Fibonacci extension pulled on up here. See what we're looking at. We've got our lows to the high to our lows, and looking like we rejected off of that golden pocket. So nice little rejection off of that. We are trying to hold up the 50% line right now. We've got the same little sideways momentum coming in on the higher term time frame. If you continue with some of this money flow, very, very easily could get that continuation above our resistance areas. We need to get above the golden pocket first though. So that is that first area to kind of keep your eye on, 01469. That is that golden pocket area. Let's see what that hourly is looking like. We're seeing a lot of sideways momentum on that daily. This hourly does have a little bit of curvature here as well. Money flow's looking nice though. So if we break below that 50, we do do have the 382 below us that would be of interest. 01175, that's that area where we could see a little bit of bouncing at. We're trying to hold the 50% for now, but if that 50% is a little bit weak and we do see a little bit of sell off on Bitcoin, seeing us get some bouncing there, not too unexpected. We've also got a little bit of an area above the 382 that could come into play here. Let me get that drawn on up. We've got those very equal candle bodies and some Wiccan action off of it. That'd be a little bit of a shorter term time frame bouncing area that would keep us from the 382 there. That's coming in at 01206. So a little bit of a bouncing area towards the downside. This is a massive fair value gap as well, so kind of keep your eye on that. Let's get the fair value gap drawn out for you so you can see it a little bit better. This is an hourly fair value gap. I don't normally draw hourly fair value gaps to be honest, but when you have lower market cap projects like this that move very quick, you got to take a look at those shorter term time frame fair value gaps, and that 50% line of the fair value gap coming in extremely close to that area I called out. 01206, midline coming in at 01195. So a little bit of a bouncing area to kind of keep your eye on. If you don't hold that on up, closing out the fair value gap and hitting on that 382 would be what I would look for. We also had hype requested, so let's take a look at that one and then we'll wind the show on down there. Hype sitting down here. All right, let's take a look at some hype and see what's going on. Let's get it zoomed on out. Take a look at that daily time frame. We got that little bit of a resistance at $40.36. We saw a lot of selling pressure above that. Selling pressure really started at $40.22. But your daily is looking a little bit cooled off here. Could definitely get a little bit of some continuation towards the upside if you hold up this 50% line. Our golden pocket is our stronger resistance area above that. That's coming in at $41.21 there. So definitely looking to see if we can hold up the 50% line first. We got that nice little bouncing action off of it today, and we are under a lot of selling pressure on the higher term time frame. You've got your prime oscillator though here on the daily getting some curvature towards the upside, breaking above our indicator line, printing some bullish candles here on the histogram. So we will kind of have to see what kind of money flow we get, because our volume here, let me get it zoomed on in, our volume here is extremely low. So I would wait to see where that volume area comes on in at, and where I would look for some volume is directly towards the downside, and that's going to be $39.25. So nice little area to see a little bit of some bouncing at, especially on hype. We didn't really hold that as some support on the higher term time frame. This has just been the bounce of today. As you can see, this is our daily candle, and it is continuing with a little bit of some sell off there. Let's see how the hourly is looking here. Hourly seeing a lot of resistance directly above us. We did talk about that golden pocket being that real strong resistance area. We're on a little bit of an uptrend here, but like we're breaking below what would be our support. Let's get it drawn on out off of those wicks there. As you can see, we're trying to break below that right now. So a little bit of an uptrend, but doesn't look like it could hold if you really see that continued sell off on the shorter term time frame. MACD below our indicator line. We've got triple bearish divergence here. So hourly is looking a little bit iffy. Could definitely break below that 50% line as well. And that next real area I'd kind of keep my eye on, coming in at $38.40. That'd be a little bit of a better area to kind of see a little bit of some bouncing at. You've got your very equal candle bodies and your wick off of that as well. So $38.40 looks like a nice little bouncing area. That is our very strong support. We've got the hold up there, the hold up there. This was resistance as well, and resistance. So seeing a little bit of a third touch on that would not be too unexpected if you break below the 50. That's that if there. So if you break below the 50, really see that continuation of low volume. That might be a little bit of an area of interest. Still keeps that macro trend intact there. As you can see, that 4 hour, that would be a higher low. So really holds that trend quite nicely there. As you can see, we've been seeing a lot of volume in this area, a lot of sell pressure when we get those buying candles. So let's take a look at that 15-minute in the morning. Is looking like it is a little bit bottomy, but that prime oscillator moving a little bit sideways here. MACD getting that next little curvature towards the downside. So when we talked about on pulse chain, where if you watch that money flow and you see it continue towards the that upside, you can get that nice little, instead of a break and curving towards the upside, you can curve the same way. That is what we're looking at here. So definitely could see a little bit of continued sell-off on hype. That's what I got for y'all today. Make sure to tune in to the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. Oh, dang. Bitcoin seeing that nice little move towards the downside. Getting a little close to my TP1. So we will kind of see if that trend continues into the day. We've got the morning market report at 10 a.m. That's with Piper and OC, the best place for the breakdown of your macro trends. We've also got Trading with OC every single day at 8 p.m. That is the place to be if you like to trade and you like to make some money. That man is the indicator god. So tune on in every day at 8 p.m. to get your breakdown on how to use those indicators or how to catch a trade. We've got Eric the Red sliding on in here. Thanks for all the info. Do you think COA and BNB, is there anything there for the future, or are they pure rugs? Greetings from Ireland. Well, BNB, not necessarily the biggest fan of, but like Ethereum, I think BNB has too much built on it right now to really fail. I don't know anything about CoAI. Would have to dive into that another time. I could probably take a look at it tomorrow because I got to get to work here. So if you hit that subscribe button, we will talk about that for you tomorrow. But until the next time, make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, wake the hell up. Sharks ain't waiting and neither am I. It's BC Pork Corp, and this is Good Morning Crypto. Let's run it. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet dig like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laugh in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Yeah, I'm up before sunrise, no snooze on my plays. Whales still dreaming, I'm setting my trays. I ain't here for likes, I ain't here for clout. I'm here for that check when the trend breaks out. I spit blocks, hash race, having dates. Got alpha in my veins, no time for fakes. SEC lurking, but I move like a ghost. Mixing TA and game, call me the host. This my show, this my tone, this my throne. Good morning, crypto, I stand alone. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet thick like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laughed in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Perpetual swinging, I'm a beast with the size. TA tight like the laces I tie. MACD crossing, I'm pressing that go. And my fib line stretching like it's crypto dope. Ain't no banker ever taught me this wealth. I learned from red days, had to fight for myself. Now I'm dropping fire before the coffee drip. Crypto cooking on his breakfast shift. Every candle's a warning, every flash a test. But I lace up my plays and I trade like the best. We're moons made for legends, not snoozers and sheep. This for the wolves who watch charts while they eat. This for the ones who said crypto's a scam. Now I'm paying my bills with a cold wallet jam. Salute to the grinder, salute to the bold. Good morning to those who ain't buying what they sold. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet thick like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laughed in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Wake up.